What is good, Trap More gang? Today, we're going to be taking a journey. We're going to be taking a slow walk, perhaps with a walking stick or a cane, because we're going to be looking at the oldest, hardest, most wrinkled, but most distinguished drill rappers that the UK has to offer. In case you haven't caught up with it, my boy Fumes the engineer, big man Fumes, always plugged in. He had a couple of geriatrics pull up for a little freestyle. Fumes the engineer is one of the biggest freestyle show havers in the UK. He absolutely crushes it with his plugged in freestyle series, but a lot of people were confused a few days ago when he had these two old fellas pull up on him. This is Pete and Bass, and they are a 70 plus year old. Combined, they probably got over a fucking 140 years between them. And I'm not talking about a sentence, that's just being alive. The worst sentence of all, 70 years of just being alive, that's hard enough. They're just some old dudes that have fire bars. They absolutely shelled down this Fumes the Engineer session, was absolute flames. This thing went hard, and a lot of people have been talking about them. So today, I just want to take a little closer look at the Pete and Bass story, try and get my head around what makes these guys tick, what the fuck is going on here. Because I'll be honest with you, I thought these guys were a couple of frauds. I thought these guys were on some Johnny Knoxville and Bad Grandpa shit with one of those old man face masks when I first saw them. Because I thought, how can these 70-year-old geriatric, probably have to use a stair lift, probably need to be lowered into the bath looking motherfuckers, are spitting the hardest bars in drill? I don't understand. So look, here's the Pete and Bass Instagram page. 232k followers, shitting all over me, couple of 70-year-old dudes. Their DMs are probably on fire. They probably got all the 50 and 60-year-old baddies in there, you know what I mean? They're followed by some real motherfuckers too. They're followed by Dave, followed by Mo the Comedian, Press Play, Charlie Sloth, the big man. They're even followed by Puya. All the Floridians are plugged into these guys. I just like, what are they about? Look at the drip. They're about to drop a mixtape, goddammit. You know when you see a picture like this and you're like, oh, this is when your grandpa is about to drop the most fire mixtape. This grandpa is, and it's dropping on the 23rd of April. I'm fully gassed.
The mixtape out, 23rd of April. Make sure you got it. St George's Day.
That's what we're working with, people. I can't wait for this mixtape. Look, they've even got a UK tour popping, and they're in some big venues as well. I mean, look at all these venues that they're playing. A lot of them are big London venues as well. They're playing XOYO in London, right? Okay, 800. That's aight. I'm not trying to shit on their venues. Hey, I couldn't sell out a one-person venue. You get me? But
let me tell you, you're the best. Don't let nobody put you down, because whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, it don't matter, because you're the best. Well, don't forget it.
I was hella wholesome. I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling a little bit shook today. I was feeling a little bit not myself, but I feel like I've just been sorted out. I don't even know which one's which, if I'm honest with you. Which one's Pete and which one's Bass? Bass, 70, is a piano teacher, while Pete works for the National Trading Standards Board, targeting road traders. But in their spare time, they're part of a 6-man musical collective called Sindhu World. First I'm hearing of it. Bass has been a fan of grime music since one of his piano students introduced him to it, while Pete loves rap. So this was way back on the 4th of January 2018. They were just picking up their first bit of attention for filming a music video out on the streets of London for Shut Your Mare. Look at them posing with the Benz, pulling up with the Benzo, man. That's fire. So this must be their first video, and it's described it here as Pete and Bass from Sindhu World. So it must have been either originally they were called Sindhu World, or they're part of a collective called Sindhu World, but they're like the front men. Gotta look into that. Sindhu World. All right, last time these guys uploaded was February 15th, 2019. So Sindhu World isn't active anymore, but Pete and Bass seem to be carrying the torch. But I guess back in the day, this was a little collective of peeps who were doing some hilarious shit, and it looks like Pete and Bass kind of evolved out of this little hilarious cultural corner shop experiment. Riding that pony like Genuine. I like this guy's vibe. So I think this is Bossman Sindhu himself. So he's showing the love. This was 2017. So whatever this was seemed to lead to the discovery of Pete and Bass. Now we've worked out who's fucking who. This is Pete. Everyone please, because this is Pete. He came today and said, where are the sandwiches? And I don't mean prawn, because if it's prawn, I'm out of here. But I said, yes, of course. But I did not know he was from the Trading Standards. And he said, we're still under investigation from them. This evening, Pete's taken a disc of the song we made together and said maybe he'll listen to it when he's cooking his bacon bat tonight. I pray he takes one bite of his bacon bat and hears the song to his heart and realizes he can never close down the shop ever. He said he's back on Friday to tell us what will happen. This is an update from the shop. What the fuck? So it looked like Pete pulled up on these motherfuckers to shut them down because he works for Trading Standards, ended up getting involved with the music. He must have taken that disc home, spun that shit like a fucking coupe in Abracadabra's block, and just been down to ride after that. So anyway, right, apparently they got started and discovered in this fucking corner shop, but through doing that, they ended up making this, which is the music video for Shut Your Mouth, which I probably can't show you a lot of because of copyright, but let's just have a little peep and maybe we can, you know what I'm saying.
Go, one on each finger, handstand backflip ninja. Don't speak till I say so.
This is hard, man. This is hard. Pete went in. What's Bass gonna do?
Bring in the back, jokes in the front, stands in the pack. Talking about dominant iron, quick one two, I'ma bring back sparring.
Them suspenders are drip, straight drip. I don't want to hear what anyone has to say. Fire suspenders. My guy is dripping, positively dripping sauce.
The table, Stone Island, check the highway. Don't wanna spill my drink, I'll lose my range. Who's got the nose of I wanna lie my face.
This seems to be the real breakout moment for Pete and Bass. They're both die-hard Millwall Football Club fans. Fair enough. If you've ever seen Football Factory, you know all about that stuff. Fucking cricket bat over the canister, you mug, all that stuff. Right, they released their first track, Shut Your Mouth, in 2018, so that was what we just checked out. And apparently, that very same year, they held their first gig in front of 10 people in the Graduate Pub in Greenwich. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like anybody filmed their very first gig where only 10 people were in the crowd. But what we do have, at the very least, is a performance at the Camden Assembly on the 1st of February 2019, I think, which is, how big's the Camden Assembly? 470, that's pretty good. That's a big step up from 10. So let's see what that's like. Let's see how they go in live. They look like the real deal. This is the thing, I'd always thought with these guys, right? When I first started seeing them rapping, in my head I was like, look, these are definitely fraudsters. They're either just lip syncing along to hard bars that just a younger person has recorded in a gruff voice, or they're young motherfuckers wearing the Johnny Knoxville bad grandpa face mask. But when you see them perform live, you can witness the greatness, the dusty but still great. It's dusty but still great vibes of Pete and Bass, and it looks like they're very legit, if you ask me.
Anybody out there? What's that?
I can't tell if they're doing a sound check, trying to get the crowd hyped, or just hard of hearing. What? We're gonna make some noise! We're gonna make some noise! I can't hear you! No, I still can't hear you! And the jokes thing is that Pete and Bass are like the least energized people in that room. All the crowd are young people like, yeah, bopping, jumping, hype. Pete and Bass, oh, I can't move too much, lads. Come on, where's my pint? Where's my pint? Where's my cig? Shit, man, this shit's so hard, it makes me want to phone my grandma and talk to her for 2 hours. This shit is so hard, it makes me want to do 5 shots of Pepto-Bismol. This shit's so hard, I'm about to pop a bottle of prune juice in the goddamn club with a sparkler on it. So, Pete and Bass took off, right? They took off like a rocket from here. And after that, we were getting song after song. They had this big song, Dents in a Peugeot, that was fire. I can't play too much of it, but I love this tune just for the lyric, where it says he's got a brand new range in the shed, because I have never heard a rapper flex their shed before. Shout out my shed gang, baby.
Then I had dents in a Peugeot, now I got chains in my chest. Gold, one on each finger, brand new range in the shed.
Cheers! Fire! 70-year-old goddamn fire. Another big video of theirs was Do One.
With the 50p charge when I pay card. Came through the beggar ball scratchings and I came up.
So the thing I love about Pete and Bass the most is just the drip, you know what I mean? They come so hard, they're pulling up in the Beamer 5 Series every time, they're on the proper block, they're pulling up in ranges, they're drippy, but it's like old man drip, you know? They're being themselves, but they're making it fly. And that's what I love about them, that's why it's so G. Was that a skeng? My guy's got the old school revolver on deck. This is the Red Dead Redemption shit. They're gonna blow somebody's head off for walking too fast, for rushing them up the escalator, I don't know. So look, at a certain point, right, Pete and Bass became fully popping. They were getting interviewed in all sorts of papers. This is the Indie 100, the independent newspaper. This is a big deal. It says 70-year-old drill rappers go viral for being surprisingly good. And the mad thing is, like, they're getting a lot of love, not just because they're old and because this whole shtick is kind of weird, but also because they are genuinely good. Like, the bars and the punchlines that they're coming with are actually fire. And, like, the aesthetic, although there are some old, wrinkly, testicle-looking motherfuckers, it's unique, you know? I've never seen a driller do this. We're so tired of seeing the same drill stuff again and again and again. Drill man down, ching man down, I'm standing in front of a block. But just to see a few people that look a little different to the norm, they're talking about stuff that's slightly different, but it's packaged up in the same way, it's just incredibly refreshing. Once this started taking off, and once these guys got a whole bunch of clout, naturally, there were copycats. And as is always the case with us Brits, you know, we didn't invent drill. Drill was invented in Chicago, but we came up with that UK drill sound. We finessed, we created the most fire UK drill, booming, hard beats, and you Americans took them. You US drillers, you New York drillers, you took our swag, you're welcome, you can have it, but just acknowledge us. You did that with the old motherfuckers too, because seemingly not too long after Pete and Bass were running things, goddamn Frank and Maury turn up on the scene. So now we got two old American motherfuckers doing the same old shtick, looking hella wrinkly, and I'll be honest with you, it was when this happened that made me think that this was some BS and these were some Johnny Knoxville mofos, because how can there be multiple geriatric street rappers in different places around the world? I mean, my God, we're gonna have a whole new Billboard chart for over 70s. Frank's 75 and Maury 92? 92? He shouldn't be in the studio. If one of those mic stands falls on him, it's a wrap. It's this kind of like real extra shit, the extra exposition and story that kind of makes me not want to believe this. Like, these guys might be some old ass industry plants, 100-year industry plants. These guys are some industry time capsules.
Yeah, Frank and Maury.
Frank and Maury. They even sound a bit like Pete and Bass. Maybe it's just because they're also old as shit. I don't know. Part of me almost thinks that Pete and Bass are doing a bit of franchising and writing and ghost performing these lyrics for these fools.
Keep your mouth shut. Watch your tongue.
The flow is really similar to Pete and Bass too, if you get me. If you catch my drift, the flow's awfully similar. To be fair, it's more like an American trappy type beat.
Put it in the George Foreman. You ain't never robbed the store, guess your life's boring. Flick, look at that Patron, yeah, my wife's pouring. Pretty women in my phone, cause I'm quite gorgeous.
I feel like this is just like Pete and Bass in slightly more salmon makeup, you know what I mean? Because the individual flows are like real similar to Pete and Bass, and then like the switch up, it just seems even more apparent that the flow has been copied. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is that us Brits, we invented the new school drill sound. We came up with that. You're welcome. You're welcome, America. You're welcome, New York. And my God, we invented 70-year-old motherfuckers spitting straight bars. That's ours. We invented that. That's some English shit. You're not having it back. And Queen Elizabeth mixtape dropping very, very soon. She needs to pay those funeral bills. That was kind of mean. I take that back. I apologize. Anyway, that's the story, man. That's Pete and Bass. That's these guys' journey. I would have liked to have shown you more of their music, but obviously it's a copyright ting, and I know how Fumes gets. But anyway, it's all good, baby. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed getting a little bit of background about Pete and Bass, the baddest, oldest fools in the game. Pete and Bass, straight fire. Go listen to them if you haven't already heard their stuff. Hope you enjoyed learning a bit more about them. If you want to see me profile more weird and wonderful people from the rap community, let me know down in the comments if you like this one. I could do more videos like this. I could react to more music videos. I could do bits and bobs, you know what I mean? I could do all sorts of stuff I could do. So let me know if you enjoyed that one. Let me know if you hated that one. Jump down in those comments. Make sure that you subscribe. Trap more Ross Gang. We are growing by the day, and I appreciate everybody who has subscribed so far. And if you want to support the channel on the next level, please consider supporting my Patreon. Thank you to all of the people whose names you can see on screen right now. You are some legends. So until next time, thanks for watching, guys, and peace out.